Yes, Grenada, Kupiti Mandik and the world, I'd like to welcome you to another Mikey Live program. Now, folks, I'm your host, Mikey Hutchinson, and this is where it all happens. When we talk about news, this is news discussed, not news told. So we are going to be discussing the news tonight. And folks, there are a lot of things to tell you about. There's quite a bit happening in the news, I must say. 4 charged in connection with the death of Jamaican, and they have since attended court and remanded to Her Majesty's prison. Stolen vehicle crashes, driver at the intensive care unit in critical condition. Schools shut down as teachers commence strike action on Monday, that is today. Very interesting. We're going to tell you about that. Protest action in Carriacou, and that is to stop principal's removal. We're going to talk about that. And Grenada prepares to vote. Referendum day tomorrow, God's willing. Of course, we have to remind you, we'll be covering the referendum. The results, we'll be covering that as well. So you have to brace yourself. Tomorrow it's going to be a big day. And pregnant teen and her boyfriend shot dead in Trinidad and Tobago. That was a sad piece. So we're going to talk about that and more right here on Mikey Live. Folks, as customary, we want to encourage you to share the program. You see, when you share the program, that is how other people get an opportunity to see that we are live. That is how other people get an opportunity to see what's happening here. So please go ahead and share the program. All right? Now, folks, we want to remind you that tonight's headlines was brought to you through the kind compliments of Duty Free Caribbean and the Colombian Emeralds International. When we come back, it's real news in all the Lili Lolo. So stay tuned.
And so it begins, a journey like no other. Jungles so lush, they make emeralds jealous. Water that sparkles like diamonds. Mountains with more facets than precious gems. This is where good times are had, where love is strengthened, where memories are formed. And when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will never fade. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
The countdown has begun, and time is running out. Shop at Courts today and make this season epic with the latest in electronics, appliances, stylish furniture, and so much more. Only at Courts, bringing value home.
Okay, good, beautiful. All right, so folks, I think we are now ready for the news. I hope all are ready and brace all yourself. Is real thing out about that is about to happen on the program. Folks, Grenada is preparing for its referendum. This time, we don't have 6 and 7 bills. There's just one. Grenada is going to be voting on the CCJ bill. And that's going to be happening tomorrow. Now, voting time is from 6 p.m. and it is going to go to 5. All right, so 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then the results. And of course, we want to remind you that we will be giving you the live results on the program. One of the persons, one of the driving forces behind the whole referendum business is Attorney at Law, Attorney Ruggles Ferguson. And today we had a discussion with him. We asked him, Attorney, tell us, just break it down to us. Tell us, why should Grenadians vote for the referendum?
Our constitution requires that we have a referendum in order to access the final appellate court of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The referendum is indeed historic because there are few countries in the world that require a referendum in order to access the final court, and Grenada and Antigua are the only 2 countries in the Caribbean. So we are about to make history as a people to vote on an important issue like this. And the Privy Council, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, which is the court that is the final court for Grenada, over the last 27 years, between 1991 and 2018, only 16, well now 17 cases went to the Privy Council. And the reason why? Over 95% of our people cannot access the final court. And the simple question, Mikey, is, if we have in less than 1 case a year to go to the final court, what sense do we have a final court and we don't access it? Is it an ornament? The CCJ, if we use the statistics for Barbados, between 1995 and 2005, 10 or 11 cases went from Barbados to the Privy Council. And I mentioned 2005 because Barbados entered or accessed the appellate jurisdiction of the CCJ in 2005. And the next 10 years, the number of cases going to the final court increased tenfold. 44 cases or thereabout went to the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction, more than 4 times. So the statistics are there to show that people are able to access our own final court in the region. And it goes without saying, because it is substantially cheaper and it is much more accessible. The court is an itinerant court that can come to Grenada in appropriate cases to hear the matter. That's where the court comes to you. Or the court may hear the matter over video conference. They have video conferencing facilities to hear that, and it's part of the court's normal operations. Or 3, you may go to Trinidad and the matter is heard at the headquarters in Trinidad. And going to Trinidad, the expenses involved in going to Trinidad are, of course, substantially less than going to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. And courts are for the people. We must always remember that. The courts are not there for the politicians. Sometimes, in fact, the courts are there to protect us against the politicians. And therefore, what's the sense of having a final court? Where if you feel that the Court of Appeal is wrong in its decision, you have no choice but to remain there because you don't have the money to go to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. We need a judicial system that people can access at every single level, right up to the final level. That is what is access to justice.
All right, and he's not the only one. People, today the place was just littered with vehicles and persons, and on social media, a lot of campaigning going on. Also, joining in the discussion and in the campaign was Grenada's Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Mitchell.
It's about our enduring attempt to develop not merely another society, but one that is fair and just, and one which affords all an equal opportunity for justice at the highest level. This endeavor goes beyond the realm of this present generation. It is indisputably a worthwhile investment in the type of society we'll set up for children and grandchildren's future. It is rather unfortunate, therefore, that as we approach this crucial milestone in our history as a nation, the gravity of the moment is being distorted with misinformation, particularly on social media. I urge all of you citizens not to be swayed by rumors that are intended to sow confusion and doubt.
That's Dr. Keith Mitchell. Now, we also spoke, we see some breaking news coming in. We are going to get to that in a moment. We also spoke to Mr. Ferdinand Phillip, that's the Voter and Civic Registration Officer at the Parliamentary Elections Office, in terms of the office's readiness for tomorrow.
Well, as an office, we think that we are very prepared. We think that a lot has been done, a lot of groundwork, a lot of preliminary work has been done. And so there is a quiet on the Western Front, so to speak. Our systems are in place, and so at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, the polls will open, and persons are expected to come out there and cast their votes. Of course, it's normal from 6 in the morning until 5 in the p.m. We expect that all 254 polling stations will open on time. The public is encouraged to be aware that all of the normal election rules apply, so that you do not go inside there with your electronic devices as stipulated by our recent amendments. We hope that you will come out there and vote with your ID, but if your IDs are not available for a reason, whatever reason, what is important is that your name needs to be on the list, so still come out there and vote. Remember, the presiding officer is in charge of the polling station. He or she will be ably assisted by a police officer. Remember also that your vote is private, so that if one person, one vote, you come out there and you cast your ballot, it will be kept secret except in certain cases which will be explained to you. Persons who are incapacitated, who are blind and such likes, these persons will be catered for. As an office, we have placed ramps in several constituencies, in several polling stations I should say, for persons who are otherwise challenged, so that to facilitate the ease of voting. That and so many other things have been done to ensure that come referendum day tomorrow, that every voter is facilitated. We have 3 changes which have been highlighted previously, but I will take the opportunity to do so again. In St. George South, the Sandino plant will no longer be used. It's now the Blessed Sacrament RC School. At St. David, the Pedmota Medical Station will no longer be used. It's now the Jane Donald shop on the opposite side of the road. And in St. George Northwest, the Lacqua facility will no longer be used there. It's now downstairs the Seventh-day Adventist Church at Grand Mall.
Thank you very much, Ferdinand Phillip from the Voter and Civic Registration Officer. We are getting some breaking news right now coming out of the south of the island. We are being told now that a vehicle is currently on fire. Now, the source who has sent us this says that this is a BMW vehicle that has caught fire. Of course, folks, we are just receiving that information right now, so we cannot give you any more details on this. What we are hearing from our source is that this vehicle is burning close to the Secret Harbor down to the south of the island. All right, there are currently fire services on site right now, trying to put out the blaze. Okay, so this is information, breaking news just coming into us that there is a vehicle currently on fire close to the Secret Harbor area, and that the fire services are currently on site. What they are saying is that it appears to be that of a BMW, and of course that we are going to treat this as unconfirmed until we are able to get more confirmed details on this, as we are saying now that we are just getting this from one of our sources who is saying that this car is currently on fire in the area of the Secret Harbor. In terms of whether or not there are any injuries, what would have led to that, of course, as usual, we are going to try to see if we can get more information on that. Okay, breaking news just coming in. Thank you to our source for sending in that bit of information for us. We are moving on, folks. The next thing that we have to tell you about, boy, while we're talking about vehicle, there was an incident that happened on the weekend. The Kirani James Boulevard, probably one of the dreadest crashes you would see in a long time. This vehicle ran straight into a bus stop. Luckily, there was no one in that bus stop. You see? They say the incident happened around 5 a.m. there about. You understand? Around 5. 24-year-old Tevin Cox is warded at the General Hospital. You understand? Now the police is saying that soon they will be laying charges, but for now they are doing their investigations. They're currently doing their investigation. Just run into the bus shed at the Kirani James Boulevard. Now police is also saying that this incident may have occurred as a result of speeding and possibly drinking. We ain't making it up. That's what the police say. They are doing the investigation, but the preliminary information suggests that speed may have been a factor, that maybe as well drinking is a factor. He said based on things that they see on the scene, based on evidence that they collected on the scene. So soon charges will be laid. And we are told tonight that the driver is in critical condition at the ICU at the General Hospital. You understand? They say the passenger in the vehicle said that the driver swerved a bit, tried to escape a vehicle, and that is when they ran into the bus stop. But the police, they are being scared. They are skeptical about that version of the story. You understand? So they say that they are investigating this. Now, as we understand it, the vehicle was stolen by a passenger in the vehicle. We ain't making it up. You understand? What we understand is that the vehicle was stolen by a passenger in the vehicle. Never hear that yet. No. So the police taking their time, they say, and conduct their investigation into that crash. Wow. So 2 persons from this crash is currently hospitalized, one in critical condition. You understand? In fact, folks, needless to say, we've been having a lot of crashes lately. I need to say that. We've been having a lot of crashes, and the police say they have seen an increase. The police say that they have seen an increase in the number of crashes on the nation's road. You understand? So, you understand, people? Well, at least for now, we have to say, thank God, despite everything else, you know? Despite everything, still we have to be grateful that there has not been any fatalities in this crash, because that seems to be what's been taking place lately. Lots of fatalities. Once you are crash and thing, you know what I mean? No. Police say they have been having hundreds of crashes, people. Yeah? August 235. Somewhere around that vicinity there. September, almost double. What are we talking about, man? Crashes on the road, you know. Anyway, leave that talk alone. Audio. There's a very interesting development happening right now in Carriacou. You understand? So people was out marching today, boy. They there on the streets and they marching, ting. Let me give you a little piece. Let me give you a little piece of the protest now. Carriacou.
No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace.
So you might be wondering, what really taking place in that video, boy? Well, it has to do with the principal of the school. You guys will remember at the starting of the year, the school year, there was an issue where some students showed up at a particular school in Carriacou with different uniforms. The Mount Pleasant school. You understand? You seen it on the screen? Yes. Mount Pleasant Government School showed up with different uniforms and things. So the ministry took issues with that. They said that's not how it works. You can't just decide to change the uniform of the school. There's a process that needs to be followed, people. So now, the principal, Emma Williams, probably will be removed as principal since, according to the minister, she has not been able to deal with the situation. We spoke to the minister, Emmeline Pierre, moments ago about this.
Well, the situation at that school, which is Mount Pleasant Government School, on the 3rd of September 2018, where students at that school would have showed up in two different uniforms. The school would have indicated its intention to change the uniform. That's prior to September 2018. The ministry would have learned of the process that the school started and would have expressed its concern as to the process and the way that the school was going about the change in uniform. What the Education Act says, what the law says, is that for a school to change its uniform, it must have written permission from the Chief Education Officer. We reminded the principal of this, and the principal indicated that she is fully aware and that they intend to write to solicit permission from the Ministry of Education. The letter did come, and the letter came from the PTA, and she was reminded that a letter like that cannot come from the PTA. The PTA does not run the school, the principal runs the school. And so the ministry would have responded to the principal, reminding the principal of what should happen and what should not happen. Subsequently, as I said, the 3rd of September, I would say serious disorder. You have students in different uniforms showing up on the 3rd of September. We would have asked the principal to restore order in the school. It appears that she is not able to do that. She indicated that the PTA has taken over the situation and they are the ones who are leading the process of changing the uniform, and she doesn't seem to be able to bring the situation under control. So that is where it's at this time. The ministry is firm in its position. The order in the school must be restored. There's a uniform and students of that school must be using that uniform.
Okay, so is there a process on the way now to have the principal replaced?
The ministry has indeed written to Public Service Commission asking for replacement of the principal in light of the conversation with the principal. The conversation with the principal more or less convinces one that she's not able to lead the school at this time as it relates to the whole issue of leadership and the management of the situation at the school. In other words, the Parent Teachers Association, based on conversation with the principal, is dictating what happens and doesn't happen at the school. As a matter of fact, when the ministry would have written to the principal asking to restore order, there was the circulation of a note at the school to students asking whether or not the directive of the ministry should be followed. And this is totally unacceptable.
All right, that's Minister for Education, Honorable Emmeline Pierre, speaking about the current situation in Carriacou. So there are moves to have the principal removed, and of course you would have heard the explanation given by the minister. People, it was no ordinary day today, you know. Why? Because most of the schools, I can't say some, the teachers and principals and so on chose not to show up. It's all a part of protest action, people. Protest action. Following a breakdown in negotiations between the school, well, not necessarily the school, but let's say the union and the government. So last Friday, the union informed its members that they should be staying home. Don't play that. Stay home, people. You understand? That they should stay home Monday and Wednesday to send a strong message to the government that they ain't playing that. To send a message to the government that they mean business. People, there are some teachers who attempted to go to work. Some who showed up and realized, but no one else didn't show up but them. You understand? There are others who never even bothered. They just decided to stay home anyway. And so we had Mr. Pierre to talk to us about that one as well.
The position is simple, that we would have learned of the instruction given to teachers by the GUT. We would have learned of that through social media. And our position is that something like this, which is so impacting, if you're going to ask persons to stay away from the job, we believe that the ministry should have been informed.
Okay, we seem to have an issue with the audio, with the visual on this. All right, we have just a slight issue with the visual on this one here. We want to apologize for that, but this is the minister. This is the Minister Emmeline Pierre talking about the situation. All right, so if you just permit me, let her continue to speak, and I'll see if I can sort that out. All right, thank you.
We would have learned of the instruction given to teachers by the GUT. We would have learned of that through social media. And our position is that something like this, which is so impacting, if you're going to ask persons to stay away from the job, we believe that the ministry should have been informed that this is something that the union intends to do, and this is something that could have been discussed with the ministry. The second thing is that our position is that we are not aware that there is any issue that would lead the union to take that kind of action. as it relates to a dispute or grievance where negotiation would have broken down and the process would have been followed. So the process is pretty simple and it's detailed in writing in the law, in the collective agreement, which speaks to what happens when negotiation breaks down. So, for example, the labor commissioner is supposed to be informed if negotiation goes through that process, that level, and I mean, you can't talk, you can't settle anything. The minister is asked to intervene. And so we feel that due process is important, that if you have a problem, you follow the due process and with the intention of having a solution to the problem. So we are learning, again, through social media, that the issue is not to do with the Ministry of Education, that it has to do with pension. We have not learned that formally from the union, but through the social media. And we are saying, you know, whatever it is, pension, whatever, there is a way that, you know, we can solve problems, we can address problems. I have said before, with regards, I mean, not specific to this situation, but this government is the first government since the revolution that has seriously demonstrated will as it relates to pension reform. As a matter of fact, workers who were employed from then to now has never received any sort of financial, well, speaking now specific to pension, has not received pension from any government, but the process has started under this administration just about 6 months after election, and already we have over 50 workers, persons employed during the period 83 to 85, April to February, of those years would have already started to receive. As a matter of fact, government is going to spend over $50 million at the end of this year in payments. So as it relates to pension, my view is that there's a process that started. There's discussion and dialogue that started, negotiations started. There may have been, based on what I'm hearing in the news, there may have been some disagreement on that particular subject. But I'm saying I'm not sure that at this stage we want to disrupt the school system, have children out of the classroom at this stage, that we can't find a way to continue negotiation and continue discussion on that particular issue, especially where the government has demonstrated goodwill in terms of where they don't have a legal obligation, but government has actually started a process where we already seen tangible evidence that government is willing to continue with pension reform.
Okay, so that's Minister for Education, Honorable Emmeline Pear. And of course, we also spoke to Mr. Lydon Lewis, who is the President General of the Grenada Union of Teachers. And he had a whole different perspective on the whole thing. Here is Lydon in a special report.
Schools across the island were shut down today as teachers stayed away from the classroom owing to a breakdown in negotiations regarding pension between the teachers' union and the government. And the president of the union, Mr. Lydon Lewis, says he is extremely satisfied with the response from the teachers.
We are extremely satisfied. The support has been tremendous. Teachers did obey the call to remain from the classroom. And although we had sporadic persons going out, they were few and far between, and we would deem the struggle at 95, probably a little more percent. So 95%. So we have done well, and we are proud that our teachers have obeyed the call.
Okay. The ministry has sent out a press release, and subsequently there were comments by the Minister for Education that the protest action is illegal. What's your response to that?
I think Minister has demonstrated very clearly that she's not okay with the issue. She has demonstrated poor recollection. She has not dealt with this issue at hand, and it's very disappointing. We wish to point out to the Minister that this is not an industrial collective agreement issue. This is an issue to deal with pensions. And let me repeat, it's an issue to do with pensions. We are not in the normal negotiation cycle. So to quote about labor code and about collective agreement cannot be further from rational reasoning on this issue. What Minister has demonstrated is lack of memory that we would have been engaged in discussion on pension over a year and a half. And that prior to the election, very close to the election, Mikey will recall, we signed a MOU. What Minister is saying is that she's unaware of all of this. Minister is also claiming that she's unaware that the MOU has been reneged on. Minister is also claiming that she's not aware that the negotiations broke down on the 3rd of October with government offering at 2% versus the 25% of pensions as debt rate that should be paid. So when Minister goes and makes such claims and puts out that statement, all of us of the teaching profession and the general public is flabbergasted as to where Minister is going with this. And if in all honesty, Minister is really serious about the comments she has made.
Okay, all right, good. What happens on Wednesday, and when would you be at least having discussion with the ministry on the current impasse?
Mikey, on Wednesday, the struggle continues. We have commitment from our members that they will keep up the activity and they will determine the path forward. What we can assure you, that this is just the first wave of industrial action. This is far from over. Because, as I mentioned, from the 3rd of October, we've not heard from government one single word. Although we have written to them with a proposal, although on Friday we sent a letter. So, once government does not invite us back to the table, and not just invite us back to the table to sit and talk, but with a serious proposal that would come very close to what we're asking for, then the actions would continue. So we've not heard from them. We're waiting on them. We hope that by some good sense prevail and that by Friday there is some conversation. Otherwise, second wave, and I really believe now that second wave would include more public sector unions in ensuring that that pensions are restored.
For Mikey Live News, I am Mikey Hutchinson.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Lewis. Now, folks, one of the biggest stories that we have to tell earlier about, boy, is a story where we have 4 men who were charged in connection with the death of a Jamaican national attended court today. You know, 4 of the men charged with non-capital murder in the death of Norman Power. They have all been remanded to Her Majesty's prisons. They are currently on your screen. You know, with the exception of this one with the white thing on his jersey, Burberry, the 4 men on your screen are the men accused. What? Telling me superstar vibes, you know. Anyway, son Michael Jackson kind of vibes, you know. Anyway, let me that talk there. So, anyway, yeah. Clint Toussaint, 33 years. Anthony Chase, 23 years. Tyrone Francis, 23 years. And Rafim Andrew, 25 years, all fishermen of Grand Roy St. John, appeared at the St. George's Magistrates Court today. You understand? Charged with non-capital murder. A very serious charge. Charges that, based on their reaction today, they are not fully aware of. You know? Because, you know, the somewhat jubilant manner suggests that those in question may not be fully aware of the implications of their actions. They are being accused. And of course, us speaking of this doesn't imply that, oh, good, yes, I. Anyway, anywho, 52-year-old Power is a businessman of St. Paul, St. George. He died mere hours after receiving a stab wound to the chest on Thursday, 1st November. Now, an autopsy revealed that he died as a result of a hypovolemic shock. Folks, the man will be back in court on the 19th of November 2018. So that's in a couple of days from now. All men are actually from the village of Grand Roy in St. John. I was contacted today by a station in Jamaica. And they were asking questions about this. Maybe they want to know to what end did this whole thing happen? And to some degree, whether or not his nationality had anything to do with it. You know, so they're asking questions. You understand? Whenever crimes of this nature happens, well, you know. The oldest of the four, 33. The youngest of the four, 23. Again, Clint Toussaint, 33 years. Anthony Chase, 23. Tyrone Francis, 23. And Rafim Andrew, 25. All young men. All young men. You understand? Now on your screen. So, they will be back in court later on in the month. Understand? No. How are we looking for time? Alright, folks. We want to move on. If we can. Alright. Let's move on. Now, the next story that we have to tell all about it is a dread story. Listen, that story dread from Trinidad, a double murder. And listen to this. What make it dread? Let me tell you what make it dread. A 19-year-old who was pregnant. I ain't making it up. You see, I got the picture of the teen in the vehicle, but I could only show it if I get the permission to from you guys, because it has a little blood on it and thing. But anyway, let me just show you this. You know what I mean? Let me just show you that. This man on your screen and this woman on your screen, boyfriend and girlfriend, according to media reports out of Trinidad, killed, shot, killed. People, they lie down next to each other, dead, you know. Lying down next to each other, dead in a vehicle, people. Now, when I saw the image of this, it broke my heart. Listen, an unborn baby, like 3 people dead, they dead. Eh? Like 3 people. Like 3 people. You know what I mean? How does our black people come to be so cold against our very own, and then we want to go other places and call about racism and that kind of business, but when we doing them kind of thing to ourselves? She's only 19 and that's her boyfriend, so they're well looking forward to the child. You see, she's celebrating motherhood even before the child is born. Eh? No. You know what? Let leave that talk. Let leave that talk, you know what I mean? Some of all don't even share the program, man. Share the program, no man. Here the next one. You guys remember this guy that was accused of beating up this Venezuelan girl? But at first it would have seemed that it was his girlfriend, but now they're saying he abducted her. You understand? That's what they're saying. They're saying that he abducted her and kind of thing there. And so, after videos circulated, I don't know how you on social media, because he recorded it and I'm beating up the girl. So you record the thing of you beating up the girl, and then it still found its way on social media. So listen, man, outrage for so. Outrage until they were able to find him, because they posted picture all over the place now, man. Listen, man, the place was dirty with a man picture. You understand? And so he was found by police. Now earlier, he went to court, and guess what the Trinidad court did now? He went to court. You know what they do him? They deny bail, you know. They denied his bail. I'm telling you, they denied the man's bail. So now he wants it. He's begging for bail, and they say nothing so, partners. You plain bad. Nothing so. I know most of you must have seen the video. The girl looked like she was out of her mind after she received some good blows. You can't be begging a woman to love you. I never hear that yet. Man, fellas, you could do what you want. Fellas, you could do what you want. You cannot force a woman to love you. And in fact, is she able to zone out, to shut off her mind enough and sleep with you by force? Just know she have a game plan. And even if it take her 15 years to execute that plan, partner, let me tell you something. It is well within a woman's capabilities to do just that. So the Venezuelan needed help. So she get help because they should be post the video and they get it. But in situations where the men or the abusers are not caught, just know that the victim of your abuse would soon have her day to reign. You know what I mean? And I want to empathize with women who are victims of domestic abuse and are unable for one reason or the next to leave when they want to. Some compelling reasons like the children, not having somewhere else to go to, being afraid of being killed, or being afraid of further abuse, so you subject yourself to more abuse. My heart goes out to you. You know what I mean? And to them fellas and them who feel like you need to beat up on a woman to feel like a man, yeah, coward. Yeah, P-O-S. Me and Jericho had that thing, may his soul rest in peace. P-O-S means piece off. Figure out the next one, if you're even bright enough to figure out things. Anyway, that's what Mikey life is all about. News discussed, not told. You know what I mean? We ain't signed no contract with nobody. So he wanted bail. They say nothing so. So he had to take time in jail. Alright, for now. Alright, folks, we have many other things to tell you about. We want to remind you that tomorrow, God's willing, we will be bringing you the results. Your boy can put on a bad shirt and a bad tie or something like that, brush my teeth and things like that, put a mold on a yam, and your boy coming out blazing. Now listen to this. We have already set up everything for tomorrow's broadcast. We have already done up all our graphs. We have already done up all the technical settings for tomorrow's referendum, for tomorrow's results. You understand? This is what it's going to look like. You're going to get to see the nationwide progress on the results of the referendum. We already set that up. We don't wait for nobody. That's how we just do it thing. Already as well, we have set up on our screen for you a graph that is going to show you the yes and no votes. You understand? And the polling stations and so where they are coming from. We are also going to show you the various constituencies, where they are coming from, the percentages and so on. People, in other words, there is no better place to be for the referendum results than on Mikey Live. Baby, I like to play up with numbers. I love to play with numbers. I wish news could be all about numbers every day, because that way your boy bad. You understand? So the calculations, the analysis, all right? Everything that you need to know, the history, how we voted the last time around in the referendum for the CCJ and how we are voting now, comparative analysis, we are going to be sharing that with you on the program tomorrow. We will not have a panel. And some don't seem to understand when it comes to results in 2018 and beyond. Panel is not for that. Yeah, that's what I'm showing all you. So it will be me, myself, and I am possibly my twin brother to help me with some of the graphs, and we will be telling you the results as they come. We can as well also guarantee that you will be getting the results here the quickest and most accurately, and of course with a little excitement to keep you on edge. Here's our invitation to you to join us at 5 p.m. our time tomorrow, God's willing, for the results of the referendum, the vote on the CCJ bill. We take a short break, and when we come back, we've got the national report and as well the weather for you. So stay tuned.
Listen to what you had to say and turn up the old rules, because losing what you paid for is just wrong. Now, lost data and talk are a thing of the past. Only Digicel gives you unlimited rollover data and talk. Just buy and renew your Quick Pick bundle before it expires and keep what's rightfully yours. Never lose what you don't use. Go to My Digicel app to bundle up and roll over today. Digicel.
The countdown has begun, and time is running out. Shop at Quartz today and make this season epic with the latest in electronics, appliances, stylish furniture, and so much more. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
All right, yeah, folks, we are ready to bring value home, but we also are ready for the national report.
Ministry of Education concerned about action taken by the Grenada Union of Teachers. Details to this story and more coming up in the National Report. Welcome back with the National Report for today, Monday, November 5th, 2018. I am Wendy Edmond. Minister for Education, Honorable Emmeline Pear, is concerned about action taken by the Grenada Union of Teachers, which instructed teachers to remain at home on Monday, November 5th and Wednesday, November 7th in contemplation of pension. The ministry had issued a statement saying it is not aware of any provisions which are contained in the collective agreement between the government and the Grenada Union of Teachers, nor in law for a directive of such a nature to be given to government teachers. Minister Pear told the Government Information Service that appropriate procedures are laid down in the collective agreement and in law if the union wishes to undertake industrial action in case of an industrial relations dispute.
We expect that there would have been communication with us that there is an issue. We have not had any such communication from the union. Additionally, as was indicated in the statement, we are not aware that there is any dispute or any grievance or any matter that the ministry and the union has at this time that is being dealt with. And if there is an issue, again, according to the law, according to the collective agreement and the understanding that we have with the union, that there's a process and a procedure that takes place when there's a breakdown in negotiation, for example. So the fact that teachers were asked to stay home, we consider this to be a breaking of the law and outside of the arrangement that currently exists.
Minister Pear called for good sense to prevail and appealed to the union to communicate with the ministry.
What has happened as it relates to the instruction, we do not believe should have happened, and teachers should not have been asked to stay away from the classroom, and we appeal to the union that good sense prevail in this particular matter.
In other news, on the education front, the Honorable Emmeline Pear says that there must be order and a sense of accountability by those vested with the responsibility to head the nation's education system. This response came as the minister addressed the action taken by some parents and the members of the Mount Pleasant community who marched against an alleged move to replace the principal of the Mount Pleasant Government School. Minister Pear spoke to GIS via telephone on Monday.
The ministry remains concerned that on the 3rd of September 2018, that students at the Mount Pleasant Government School would have showed up in two different uniforms. One uniform not being the prescribed uniform of the school. We maintain that every school must be run in a way that represents order and discipline. And so we express that concern to the principal. We indicate to the principal that order must be restored at the school, and that was the 3rd of September. Now we are now in November, and we are not satisfied that there has been any serious action on the part of the principal and the leadership of the school to restore order, and the ability, we do not believe that there is the ability to do so. And so the ministry would have written to the Public Service Commission asking that the principal be removed, and I would anticipate, I would sort of assume, that whatever action is related to this. The ministry has to do what it has to do. There must be, we cannot have a situation where the PTA is running a school. Our law doesn't fix to this. Our law makes no provision for this, and the ministry must operate and the ministry must function in a way that says that there is order in our institutions.
The education minister says corrective measures must be taken since nothing was done after the school's uniform was changed without being sanctioned by the ministry.
But I want to remind our parents, I want to remind the leadership of the school that there are rules that govern the school and its functioning. And they do have a responsibility to ensure that those rules are kept. And one such rule is the uniform of the school. Any school where students are wearing two different uniforms, one prescribed and one not prescribed by the school, tells me that that is an environment where there's a breakdown in order. And the ministry has a responsibility to restore order in that school. It's been more than a month since this situation was brought to the ministry's attention. We've given the principal time to restore order in the school. It appears that there's an inability on her part to do so, and it therefore means that the ministry has to do what it has to do to ensure that we continue to maintain order and restore order and maintain order at that school.
This is the National Report. More news when we return.
On November 6, 2018, Grenadians will go to the polls to vote in a referendum. The polls open at 6 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. Remember, first check the voters list outside the polling station before seeing the poll clerk, who will enter your name into the poll book. The presiding officer will then instruct you how to vote before issuing you with a folded ballot paper. After voting, remember to fold the ballot paper how it was given to you. You will then immerse your finger into the electoral ink before placing your ballot into the box. This is a message from the Parliamentary Elections Office.
There is a saying that justice delayed is justice denied. We are now saying also that justice not accessible is also justice denied.
Prime Minister of Grenada, Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, as he called on Grenadians to embrace the opportunity to vote for Grenada to replace the Privy Council with the CCJ as its final court of appeal. He says it is important for the electorate to seize the opportunity to vote on a bill that will allow them access to justice, irrespective of their financial capabilities.
The vote transcends any political, social, or religious alliances, for it is about making justice accessible to every Grenadian, Caraconian, and Petit Martinican, no matter their economic or social status or political affiliation. It is about our enduring attempt to develop not merely another society, but one that is fair and just, and one which affords all an equal opportunity for justice at the highest level. This endeavor goes beyond the realm of this present generation. It is indisputably a worthwhile investment in the type of society we'll set up for children and grandchildren's future.
Dr. Mitchell says, as Prime Minister and a citizen of Grenada, he is saddened by the negative events and misguided information surrounding the bill brought forward for the referendum.
It is rather unfortunate, therefore, that as we approach this crucial milestone in our history as a nation, the gravity of the moment is being distorted with misinformation, particularly on social media. I urge all of you citizens not to be swayed by rumors that are intended to sow confusion and doubt. The matter of justice is too important for our society for any of us to try to score cheap political points from the process. By joining the CCJ, we'll also get the opportunity to fix some of the problems that have been identified in the lower courts. After generations of being associated with the Privy Council, none of these problems have been addressed. What we have now is a golden opportunity to bring about real change. The irrefutable fact is that the only real issue on the ballot for Tuesday is whether to keep the Privy Council, which the vast majority of our people don't have the money to access, or to vote for the Caribbean Court of Justice, which will make our final justice less costly and more accessible to all people.
On behalf of all of us in the newsroom, I am Wendy Edmond, thanking you for viewing the National Report for today, Tuesday, November 5th, 2018.
Well, thank you very much, Wendy, and everyone else who are part of the production of the National Report. Now, we see that the weather for today was expected to be mostly fair, with a low chance of a few isolated showers. We're having some showers right now, just very light. Winds easterly to southeasterly at 12 to 22 miles per hour. Seas moderate, waves up to 4 to 6 feet in open waters. All right. Tides will be low at midnight, and sun would rise tomorrow at 5:57 a.m. let's big up some names on the program right now. We want to big up people like, let me see, Mom, Sonia, Mikey, John, Laurie, Arthur, Kim, Shomin, Ezran, Shum, Melly, Garvin, who else? Sabrina, and we also have Angel with us. We have Barbie, Queen, Mike, Trevelyn, Joan, Wayne, Raven, Evelyn. Also, who we have? We have Suzette. We have Don, Kojo. We had to pick up the Kojo family, the people in Carrico, boy. So we say Suzette already. We say Josephine and Ebony, Katisha, Hazel, Sheba, and Abby, and Patsy, and everyone else on the program. I had to big up all the ending. And again, we are looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on the program. All right, Wendy and Doria. Yes, we are. Naomi, big up too. We are looking forward to see you guys in the program. And Allah, big up your status as well. All right, the ambassador. Okay, Rolanda as well. Rolanda, big up your whole self. All right, so guys, we are looking forward to seeing you here tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon as well. All right, because we are going to be giving you live results of the referendum. Okay, guys, all the best. I think we have exhausted all our time. Where's the timekeeper? You made me go over my time tonight. Shauna, big up yourself, right? Nikki, big up yourself already. Okay. So Olia, yeah, I went over the time tonight, so we gotta roll. All right, guys. So thanks again, and God bless you and the family. Let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We all say ja. No. The next time you see me, it will be the live results right here on Mikey Live. Good night, folks.